We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, and sometimes, most times, we go deep. And I am getting ready to. I almost missed one thing that would have screwed up Instagram, and I got it. We are about to go and introduce you to last week's episode, Sundays, called Stalker. A lot happens in this episode. I wish I did a reaction video because, for all the panning that we did in the episode with the teaser breakdowns, which is episode 87, when Aaron, Nightmare on Elm, was on the show, and I said that reaction videos are kind of like extra because people know that they're being filmed and so they're going to be extra. I was extra. I had no crowd. It was just me alone. My wife is sleeping in the next room, and I'm tapping on the couch going, oh, what is this? Why is Daryl dying? So, and speak of the devil, I just said Nightmare on Elm and he appeared. It's like the Candyman, except you only have to say it once. So yes, I'm about to premiere this week's episode, Stalker, in which there are tons of parallels, which we go into in this episode. The only thing I will say before we start the show is, you see this little guy here? This one? Right here? Yeah? You can actually give us coffees right now. Right meow. Because then, because the widget's up. It's available. If you want to support the podcast, it's just minimum is just $3, and you get 30 days of access to our pretty cool grab bag of unedited videos to download, and also you can be a part of the recording in our real-time chat, or if you want, you could use the backup YouTube stream, but I prefer the real-time chat because then I can see what you're saying immediately to what we're talking about. You can even send us files. Did you know that? You could send us files during the show in case you find something before us. You could be our little research team if you find something that's really helpful. You can correct us in real time because we're wrong a lot of the time. You'll see in this episode, I will be putting up text where I did research after the show during the edit about some of the factoids. I actually wanted to insert a video, but I didn't want to be extra. Other than that, yes, so support the show. Buy us a coffee. Yes, one coffee gives you 30 days of access. A subscription keeps the party rolling, meaning you can be a part of the show. You can get the unedited copy of every episode, including the final edit, which I'll make available today. I just finished the edit this morning, so I didn't have time to actually give you guys the link. And yeah, you'll be able to download that. You can actually stream that using the coffee link, the coffee post. And if you don't want to give us a coffee, that's okay. That's all right. Because just set up a follower account on coffee.com, so in the event we decide to do something cool, you'll be notified about it. It's also a good place to get like really essential news. Like if we decide to do something cool or special, you'll know about it first. You'll know if something premieres. You'll know when we record. You'll know at least know when we give out the meeting details. So if you really decide you want to actually be a part of the show, you'll see the title, and you have the option to buy us a coffee, and you could just jump right into the show once the meeting starts. Other than that, we'll be having a sale pretty soon. I think I edited out of the show, but I will keep you posted on that. In personal news, it's my anniversary tonight. The first anniversary of when my wife and I first met. So I am going to start the show really soon so that afterwards we can go out to eat. We're going to be going back to the place where we first met. It's still there, even though there's a phenomenon in New York City called Vanishing New York, where restaurants will open up one month and be closed the next month. It's kind of like a diminishing return here in New York City to try to open up a restaurant. It's tough, and it's also really expensive to live here. So, which is why I have a full-time job. I do this, and I make no money doing this. Actually, I don't make any money. It kind of takes away money. You can actually see that on our coffee page, ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. There's our fundraising goal to just break even right now. And if you can help us push us over the edge, we can actually do really, really cool things. And in the meantime, I'm going to start the episode. I love you guys. Thank you very much for the anniversary wishes. And enjoy this episode. You'll have lots to say during the episode. Believe me. Because there's some hot takes. There's some really hot takes. If you've been following Rachael on her Instagram, sorry, not her Instagram, Rachael on her Facebook, you'll know what I'm talking about. Have a great weekend. I'll see you, Instagram. I will see you at the end of the show. We'll do a little post-show wrap-up. So, do that. We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh. Other times, we go deep. Go deep into your soul. And I'm here with CosmoMom09, Rachael Burt, and I'm your host, also, David Cameo. I never announce myself, and I know that I never do it, and I really should. Because people need to know who I am, I guess. Or not. You don't need to know me, I'm just the guy that laughs. I think
everybody just calls you Squawking Dead.
Yeah. Hey, Squawking Dead!
Hey, it's Squawking Dead!
So everybody knows I've been advertising on Facebook and Instagram and also Twitter. So we have a cool promo that we've been running, kind of like an audiogram. I have a little intro, and then Rachael kind of just takes over. When we were doing our morning squaffy about the future of Squawking Dead, she just went into a really good pitch, and I was like, oh, I could clip this up. It sounds so good. It's like the best way of selling us, and so I did that. And anyway, so I just got an @reply on Twitter to that promo, like, can I be on the pod? I know the person who did it, who wrote that, is not going to watch this. They're not following us. I don't know how I don't know why things like this bother me more than people being nasty on the internet, because I think there's almost like a weird hubris to it. Like, can I just be on your pod? Okay, random person on the internet who doesn't follow, doesn't listen to the podcast, doesn't know who we are, probably doesn't even watch The Walking Dead. I love how we're launching into this episode, and I never dunk on anyone, but there's just something so odd about people. But you tell me what your overall impressions of this episode was.
It was a good episode to keep our story moving forward. Well, I didn't think there was any important deaths this episode, because I didn't catch it, but apparently I was wrong. So yeah, we can get to that, but
we'll get to that. Yeah,
I especially like the title of the episode and how it has, a few different meanings. Of course, we see Daryl in the beginning stalking the Whisperers, and then intern Beta comes to us and is stalking. I do have some questions about all of that, but we can kind of hash that out, and it'll probably come to theories and everything. But I was a little surprised with Daryl's behavior, not because it's out of character for him, but he, in my opinion, is doing exactly what Carol has been doing, and everyone's giving her shit about it. The only difference is
doing what Carol's doing, you're saying.
The only difference is no one is following Daryl.
I want to say yes, but there are other factors. The dynamite thing, that was a little too far.
Yeah, that was way far. When we first see her get off the boat, she tries to slip away on her own. She tries to take care of this quietly without anybody knowing, and then and Daryl stalks her exactly. She tried to take care of this by herself. She didn't ask anybody to come out and help her, and everybody did, which is wonderful because everybody loves and cares about her. The
whole reason why we're mad at Carol is because, unless otherwise noted, there was some sort of, you stay on your side, I'll stay on my side. You stay on your side, I'll stay on my side. Carol, that wasn't enough for Carol. And
between the Whisperers and us?
Yeah.
Yes,
And look, if you're going by their word, okay, then that's whatever. And maybe we're stupid and Carol is smarter. Even if she's smarter, you can't just drag everyone along for your plan and possibly ruin everything, because you don't know everything. But anyway, but the whole point is the reason why it doesn't make sense anymore. At the start of the episode, Daryl's trying to find another way in. Mm-hmm, yeah. And so he sees the other entrance in Alpha coming out with the other Whisperers, etc. And then he realized, okay, the other walkers are coming out. So clearly they have a path.
That was the herd coming out behind her, right?
So it's already too late. This is all over. Alpha's sending the herd. At that point, it's kind of like, well, okay, everybody's broken up. He sent everybody, the rest of the people that are alive, quote unquote, to Alexandria to defend, obviously, and want to heal up and all that stuff. And so at that point, it's like, well, if I can at least slow them down, because they are coming, no matter what now. So that's a little different, right? It's one thing to kind of drag people into a conflict, right? And see,
that's the word. That word, though, is what bugs me. Dragged them into it.
Right, because things are so tense, is what I'm saying.
That would imply she's asking people to come with her. They're following her.
No, but here's the thing. Her actions could have grave consequences. For all they know, there's a ceasefire armistice, right? And her vendetta for revenge could drag them into a war. Regardless of whether it's true or not, because I don't even care to debate about it, because we're here. Here we are.
Right. Here's right.
Because it doesn't make a difference, right? Because we could ask the question, did Carol drag this into a war? And you could say yes, and you can say no. Maybe Alpha's intention was always to crush them, to get Lydia back, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But Alpha could have probably done a surgical. I mean, she put Dante in to kind of get spies in. Dante probably would have smuggled her out. I don't know. We don't know.
Well, and the whole Dante thing happened, at the same time they put their borders up. So we know immediately that Alpha had no intentions of honoring any deal that she had made with us.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, we didn't know that.
We didn't know, right?
We didn't know that at the time. Yes, in the grander scheme of things, Carol's actions lead to a war, absolutely. But do I think that war would have happened anyway?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't want to discount what you said, because it's a good point. Like, why are we criticizing this and not criticizing that? Well, okay, here's where we break it down. Yeah, no, that's a fair question. Here's where we break it down. Here are the distinctions, and maybe you're a little right, because some of the comments I've been seeing on the internet is like exactly that. Like, why is it okay when Daryl does this? Because mainly on the point of what happens when you go at it alone. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the key question. Like, and that on its face is stupid. Right? That on its face. Forgetting about the Carol question. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Do you remember, like, we were talking about in the teaser breakdowns, when we thought it was like a bridge of heads, at least, if not bodies? Yeah. That's where the herd was crossing, and that's when Daryl decided to strike. Okay, they're in a tight, like, avenue. I can do this, take this guy out, have the walkers pounce on him, then just go for Alpha, right?
Yeah, that was a great plan. Yeah. And I think, more to your point, I think a bigger difference is that Daryl is on a quest to basically find Magna and Connie. He's not out for revenge. He's still on a savior mission. So that's a big difference.
Or was, at least.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that's right. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I totally forgot about it. I mean, I knew he was trying to find an entrance, but he stumbled upon this bullshit. Yes. And now it's like, okay, if they're not already dead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, and when he's got her pinned down on the ground and he says, "Where are they?" Does he think that Alpha found Magna and Connie and has them someplace? So or is he referring to the entrances?
I didn't exactly know. Like, where are they? Like, is it the herd? Right. Is it Connie and Magna?
Entrances to the cave, Connie and Magna.
Yeah. Or where are all the walkers? Like, does she have all of them with her? Are they... Because it can't be... I don't know. Is all the herd with her right now?
I don't think so. Right? We would have seen it. He would have seen them.
Which could be the question. Where are they at? Where is the herd?
Okay. He could be referring to the herd. Who knows? We don't know. We don't know.
I mean, let's say this much. In that one exchange, at least that one thing that he says right there, that may be a little bit of a... And maybe it's... Look, you could either say that we're dumb, because you and me, but that is a little bit of a sloppy... I don't know if it's sloppy writing, or somebody didn't check, or didn't see if that makes continuity sense.
Mm-hmm. Like, or maybe it's supposed to be misleading.
Right. I don't know.
It could be totally on purpose.
I doubt it. And look, I always say if it doesn't make sense to you, then it's already a problem.
To me?
No, not to you personally. No.
I'm like, if Rachel can understand it, everybody can get it.
not to bully you. But No, I meant the average viewer, not you.
But yeah.
Thank God
it should
for
be
you.
clear enough to understand.
Yeah.
But if I don't understand something right away, I always think, okay, they'll explain it later, and then I wait a little bit and wait for that to be cleared up.
That's a good point.
Usually it is.
Well, if you had to shotgun guess a response, like, do you think he's referring to Connie and Magna, or do you think he's referring to the herd? Because I might be erring on the herd thing.
I mean, now that we've discussed other options, that kind of would make more sense. But my first thought when he said it was Connie and Magna. I thought, crap, Alpha found them and now has them someplace. But then I thought, how
does she know who's in there? Right.
Yeah. We saw quite a few clips from this episode that showed up in the trailers too.
Quite a few, which makes me think that they're leaving some of the biggest punches under wraps. Like, I mean, most of the trailer shit was from this episode and last episode.
Which, I mean, makes sense. You can't give away too much farther down the road, you know?
Especially with what we know is coming. I mean, you're talking about Maggie's return, you're talking about Princess. I mean, we haven't even explored Eugene, the King, and Yumiko looking for Stephanie, I think. Which is, it's gotta be that.
It's definitely setting up to be a meeting with what I would call the Commonwealth, just from the comic books.
Which implies a lot of things, that means that Eugene at least survives the Battle of Hilltop, so does Ezekiel. And, maybe I never thought about this.
They might even be gone.
Oh, during the battle?
Yeah, they may be gone, and then the battle starts.
I'll say this much. We do see Ezekiel and Eugene, at the very least, at the Battle of Hilltop.
Oh, that's true. We
in
did
some
see
of the previews.
in there, yeah.
They just released a couple of one today. I think it was an extended cut. He's in this he's pretty kitted up with some armor and stuff. And then the Aaron formation thing, and then I think there have been promo photos with what I call Ezekiel playing MC Hammer time. He's like wielding this kind of like this almost like sledgehammer thing.
Nice.
I don't know. I guess that's part of the new Hilltop weapon sets that was discussed about in this episode, by the way.
Get the full set.
Yeah. Get this new set today with, like, Kung Fu grip.
I was also really excited to get a time reference.
Oh, right.
A concrete time reference from
Rosita.
Rosita.
It's only been 2 days, was it?
2 days since Sadiq died, yep.
Yeah, I wrote that down, too. Since Sadiq died, Dante was
Dante,
murked, I like to say.
Because there's nothing in his grave.
Yeah, or it could be ashes. I mean, I have to imagine they'd have to put that shit somewhere.
They burned him outside the walls, right? They could have just left it there.
Yeah, you're right.
Because they didn't tell anybody they did that.
And that was always the rule. People that are from the community, or good people, let's say, are always buried inside the walls, and then bad people are thrown outside.
They buried Pete outside, didn't they? Porch Deck Pete?
Yeah, that would be a deep cut, though, too. I guess I don't remember, yeah. I don't think Dante was on the cross. I looked for it. I didn't see it. It was a gilded cross, which is ironic. Okay, do you remember the imagery of the cross in that episode? I think it was Silence the Whispers. I think it was that one.
Because that was the episode Dante smothered the elderly lady who was...
Yeah. And the irony of that gilded cross on his grave, which is not usual, by the way, I thought was really... I didn't think of it until just now, the significance of that. Like,
of the cross in general?
The gilded cross. Like, it's exactly what he wouldn't want. Because
he had wrapped the lady in the blanket and then placed the cross on the blanket.
Right.
I remember that image pretty clear.
Right. I don't think it's the same cross, but I just thought it was kind of cool that there's like a little bit of an overlap. It gives you a clue that it could be Dante's grave, but it's not really that clear. And then you find out later on.
Yeah, I had absolutely no idea. No idea. In fact, when he first came through, I thought, really? You're just going to, like, climb through a body? Like, what do you do with the body there? Okay. And then they said Dante, and I went, oh, okay.
And do you think they knew that was his grave? I don't think so, right? Like, the Whisperers, when they were digging for the tunnel? Right? How could they? And yet, so weird.
Right? Where's
so
Chris?
Weird. I don't believe this shit. Everything.
This is bullshit.
By the way, I told the there's like a BMNY chat on Twitter. There's a group DM, and I said I officially want to make a segment on Squawking Dead called Chris Hates Everything.
Chris Hates Everything.
And then we just go through. We dedicate at least 15 to 20 minutes talking about what Chris hates about this episode.
Oh, we need more than that.
Well, I mean, we're trying to keep our episodes a little shorter. But yeah. But like I want to make a logo and everything.
Yeah.
Like with that comic font. Or do you remember the letters that used to get the magnets? The letter like magnets that you put in the fridge? Yeah, that's the font that it would be in. Yes, Hashtag Chris hates everything.
In the multicolors too.
Oh yeah, of course. No doubt.
I'm interested to know how you felt about Thora Birch this episode.
I was never really I wasn't a fan when I was a kid. Like I knew of her movies, I just didn't. I don't like look back on them with like reverence like most people would. Seeing her now, it's like clearly she's learned something. Clearly she's built on years and years of experience being a child actor. It's those actors that can take a moment and just go like a nose breath or something like that to express something, or like a looking at the floor or just twitching a certain way. Like between her and, by the way, and I remember listening to this clip of the one where I revere Ruben Blades for the same reason. Like he takes this little thing and just hones in on it and is so subtle. But I feel the same way about Thora Birch, but I think even more so because she just kind of controls the scene a little bit. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Well, the whole time I was watching her, and I really don't want this to come out the wrong way, but like she didn't even come off like she was acting. It just seemed like she was there. Like,
right,
and this
like
was
Ruben Blades, right?
Yeah,
in a ways.
Like, some people you can tell like they're putting on a performance. Here's the character I play. This is what my character would do. Like I almost feel like this character just is Thora Birch, and they're like, just show up here, read this, and you know, like it's just her reacting to what's happening, and it's so incredibly believable. I wasn't a fan of hers always, and I will admit that.
So we're on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go so far as to say I didn't much care for her older stuff.
Some movies, right, exactly. And it's nothing against her. It's the type of movie. It's the
right. The movie Now and Then was a huge deal for me when I was a teenager, and she was in that movie. But I didn't necessarily relate to her character, and I didn't really care for her much or anything. But that's kind of the role I always picture her in. And of course, Hocus Pocus.
Of course.
But yeah, watching her on this show is just like whoa.
It's another level, right? It's like, where did you go? What did you pick up along the way? I want to know everything, Thora. Please tell us. Actually, we should get her on the show, too, by the way. I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
I mean, just reach out and say, hey. She'll just, ignore you if she doesn't want to do it.
Anything's possible, man. Anything's possible.
Yeah, and like you said, like all the silent moments, that is what was more moving to me. Like not even the lines she delivered, but like everything in between.
Yeah, like that pause from when she was trying to remember where she went to high school. I think it was high school, right?
Yeah.
That pause.
Conversation with Judith.
She's doing everything in her power to kind of express how much of a blank piece of paper she is right now. This malleable human, or who was made to have no personality. And I'm sure the notes on the scene were to say, just be yourself. Just pretend like everything is just kind of like there, and life is what it is, and it's not a big deal. Just pretend you're Thora Birch, and you're on medication or something.
She really gave us a little bit more insight into the type of person Alpha is too, with that scene. I mean, not only, she was trying to remember her life before, and you could see her struggling. Like I was normal. I know that much.
Struggling like.
No, like trying to remember.
But like having that little like tick where it's like something's broken.
Yeah. Like, I should remember this, and I don't. One of the one-liners that I liked, at first I thought, ooh, girl, you better watch your tongue, when she was talking to Gabriel, and she's like, why don't you ask God if I'm lying? Like, ooh, you better watch it. Like, you see what side of the bars you're on, right? And then Gabe's like, yeah, I asked. He wants me to hang your ass. Oh, I laughed so hard. Which
I did not. I was like, ooh, no? Father Gabriel, ooh.
He went a little extra this episode.
I loved it.
I was like, where have you been? Where has this guy been?
He was a lot extra. I mean, because usually Father Gabriel's like a man of semi-little words. They have been trying to utilize him more the last 2 seasons. This episode I was a little turned on by Father Gabriel. I was a little turned on.
I was rooting for him until he went a little extra gung-ho and he's like, we broke her.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
know.
like, dude, you so didn't. You really didn't. And then later he refers to her as a defector. I thought that was pretty significant.
Right.
I mean, using that term told me that he believes that she's gonna like kind of start to be on our side.
It's a signal, but I want to break down a couple things along the way, because going back to Gabriel, you're right. I was mostly on his side until that one tiny point, and then I had to kind of reconcile what he was saying. Rosita and Gabriel right now at this stage are both 2 different kinds of reactions to what happened with Sadiq, what happened with Dante, and actually what happened with the Whisperer in the cell. The one that Carol caught, going back to the beginning of the episode. Yeah. The way they were trying to do it originally was like they're trying to be kinder and show them how it could be, and et cetera, you know? Mm-hmm. And that wasn't working. And so I think Gabriel's saying, I'm going to try something different this time. I'm going to try a little fear, a little bit of assertiveness. I'm going to try some of the medicine. It's like, do you remember what I was saying about the medicine that she needs right now? Like we were talking about Carol last week about the abuse and all that stuff.
Oh, yes.
Like, telling her off is not the right medicine. Father Gabriel, I think, said, this didn't work, that didn't work. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try it just straightforward, preachery kind of confessional truth. And if you don't give me the straight answer, I'm going to be like Alpha, and I'm going to cut you down. It's it. It's over. You know, if you don't fall in line, it's over. There was something, like, really hot about him being so, like, confident, assertive. I'm almost, like, looking at Rosita, like, in the background, being like, and she's not, but I was like, I wanted her to be kind of be like, yeah, that's my man. That's my man right there. That's, you tell me. But, like, it is the 2 opposite reactions. One doubles down, that's Gabriel. The other one is kind of like, I'm afraid and I'm traumatized by this guy who managed to get in and delete my father's baby.
She's trying to act not scared, though. I mean, Obviously Gabriel sees through it, but I don't know what she's doing. I think she's just losing her mind. I mean, she's grieving and she's not doing it properly.
Right. She's not acknowledging, she wasn't acknowledging how effective she was. But I was really happy to see her own up to it. The second Gabriel stepped in, and I like that he apologized for stepping in, too. That was really cool. And I really, honestly hope that this answers the question that most people have, is like, why are Father Gabriel and Rosita together? They just play really well off of each other as a couple. This guy steps in, he apologizes for stepping in. She's like, you were right. Automatically, you're right. You know, just to let you know I'm having nightmares. Just to let you know I'm going to be honest right here. How many couples on this show do you know keep things from each other? And they're not.
Right.
And don't own up to shit. And then you brings you back to Carol and Daryl again. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Right. We're not going to go there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, though. You're absolutely right.
I really wanted to answer that question because I'm kind of annoyed.
I do see the dynamic, you know, working between Gabriel and Rosita, but I don't know. I'm still not on board for it.
I mean, that's fine.
I still cringe when I see the 2 of them together.
I love it. I'm actually, because they're showing us the reasons why, and you either can accept it or you don't. That's fine. But
yeah, well, maybe I'll come around. I mean, the more interaction I see with them, I might get used to it and like the idea.
I think most of us and you and everyone else it's just a matter of baggage. Gabe has way too much baggage.
Honestly, I don't even know what the reason is. I don't have a reason. The 2 of them
together.
I'm like, really?
You just didn't see it coming, right?
Yeah. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is, by the way, on the heels of being with Anne, like Jadis, too, by the way, which is also kind of a surprise. Yeah. My previous captor.
I mean, Rosita's been with everybody, so she's coming off the heels of everything, and Anne was there. People can't just can't be alone, can they?
No, Rosita can't.
Apparently.
Or Gabriel, right. Actually, I think they're the ones who've had the most relationships on the show. What did Rick...
Rick.
Rick Rick is probably neck and neck with Gabriel right now, unless he has another relationship that we don't know about after 5 years. Think about it. Yeah, like, because Gabe has been with Anne Jadis and then Rosita. Rick has been with Jesse Anderson, Michonne, and Lori. There's one over Gabriel. And Rosita, just not even count.
Oh, boy.
Let's not count.
I need a new notebook.
It's okay. It's okay. No. It's fine. I'm not going to shame. I'm not into the shaming thing. So you go, girl. If you can get it and you want it and you got it, go for it. Because it's hard. Or it's not.
I do think Gabriel has a point when he said that a whisperer on their own would maybe be easy to break. Maybe not break or well, I don't know.
Say it.
I was on board with that comment too. But then, we already saw what happened when you have just the one whisperer. That didn't really work either. They beat him, and then, well, of course, Dante killed him before they really had a chance to.
And he killed him because he knew that they could.
Okay, all right.
That's what I think. I mean, it's kind of plain to see. Yeah, it seemed like all it would have taken was time. I think you would have seen how this can actually work, and that Alpha was lying. And obviously Lydia, right? By the way, Carlin says she got her shirts today. The new shirts.
Yay!
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Carlin, now we just have to. We just have to get our shirts now.
So we start picking off whisperers, torturing them for information. I honestly don't believe any one of them are going to have all the information that we need. Alpha's the type of leader that keeps that kind of stuff so closely guarded. I mean, even Beta might not even know certain things. We would have to capture Alpha and torture her to get the information that we wanted.
Right. Between last episode and this episode, we kind of discover that. Like, it's mostly Alpha and Beta. Even Gamma didn't know everything.
Right. And we still don't even know if Beta knew about Dante.
That's a good point. Because
we never see him interact.
Right. It bears reminding that, who does that remind you of in terms of leadership style?
Alpha?
Yeah.
Negan?
Exactly. I was like, she's sleeping with him.
Yeah, Negan,
Negan, a lot. Very top heavy. I mean, he's gone for 1 second. They can't do shit.
No kidding. I mean, I think that's a quality of a good leader, though, too. I mean, you don't want one person or too many people to know all the information.
It depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, anything, you leave the details. Keep the details to yourself.
I suppose. Yeah, one would argue that that's not a good leadership style. If you're like Fidel Castro, makes complete sense. You want to keep yourself in power.
You're trying to be a villain.
Yeah. Hey, if you're trying to be a villain, why would you do something so stupid? It's the United States of America, of course. Like, duh, you want 3 branches of government, not just one person. Democracy. I wanted to get back to flies. Okay, Beta out in the field, going into the trailer. There's flies in the trailer. He opens up the trap door in the RV, and flies kind of in the passageway, and they kind of fly out when he opens the door. But then you also see a fly around Gamma when she's captured right outside the gates of Alexandria. And the one thing I noted is the symbolism. Flies means there's death here. And so it makes sense in the tunnel, because that's the tunnel leads to Dante's grave, quote unquote. So that's literal death. And then the devil actually has a name, which is Beelzebub, right? Beelzebub means Baal Zvuv, which means the Lord of the Flies. That's the devil, right?
Okay.
I feel like this also gives you insight into Beta at this point. I think you and me both have wanted Beta to be something that could be brought back. Seeing the flies in this episode really makes me doubt that. Seeing his actions in this episode almost make me doubt that, because if Beta is what he is and there's no going back, and even Mary is trying to say, you've been lied to, and what is the devil also? The Lord of Lying or Lies or whatever it is? Then he is essentially the agent of the devil, I guess. I mean,
he gives a great line right there, too. You think you're alive? Yeah. You were dead the moment you came to us.
Ooh, haunting.
Well, it kind of puts so many other things into perspective, too. He's walking around thinking he's dead. He thinks he's dead. They all think they're dead.
Yeah. You think you're alive, but you're dead.
Right. I hadn't really thought that way until he said that. They were whisperers. They walked with the Guardians for protection. I didn't really stop to think that they consider themselves one of the dead.
Well, these are living dead, right? These are people who are alive, but they're really dead. But the Guardians are fully dead. They're just guarding the dead living.
But not too many years ago, someone else referred to us as the Walking Dead.
I wonder who that was.
Who spoke those wise words?
Would it be Eric Grimes? You know, and I actually recently thought about the context in which he said that, too, by the way. And that the stark contrast of those words could never be more different than the intention of the Whisperers. Rick says this in order to tell his group, we have a job to do. You know, we have a lot to do to get to the point to where we can actually start living. But until then, we are the Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why at the end of the comic series, he goes, we are not the Walking Dead. We've come a long way. Right? Or at least this is my assumption. I never read the comic book. And it's kind of like Moses trying to enter the Promised Land. He's denied, in a sense, you know, and so they have to murk him. But like, so in the context of the Whisperers, though, no, this isn't in service of something bigger. Right. This is it. You are the Walking Dead. We are the end of
the world.
Yeah. Yeah. We are free. Well, this is freedom. This is the end goal. This is what we've been working towards. But that's it. This is all there is. This is it. This is the best it's going to get. At least we're not food.
And Beta is just so incredibly brainwashed. He doesn't even want to see all the goodness of Alexandria. You know what I mean? And Gamma's talent, like trying to tell him, like, she's lying to you. I almost feel like he's like, yeah, I know. I'm cool with it. I know.
Right. Well, I think it's even worse than that. Like, okay, between Beta's backstory, between what he's contorted himself to do, because I don't think it's even the ideology as much as it is Alpha. Like, she is my lifeline, not the ideology. Like, the ideology keeps me afloat, but I think the lengths that he's gone to not tell on her, for lack of a better word, phrasing.
Yeah.
He's had to tell people that Lydia is dead. He's had to make it seem like everything Alpha has said is 100% honest. Now, if he was an actual human being, there would be conflict. But you do see a little bit of conflict here and there, but it disappears. Like, do you remember last year at the end of the season? What was it?
The look.
Like, yeah, the look he gave Alpha for a hot second when.
Yeah. Oh, that look is burned into my brain. Yes.
Right. Even though it lasts like a second.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what do you mean?
Tells
she's
the
gone?
Whisperers Lydia is gone, and he does this side glance, like, what? Like, almost worried. I know. I remember, because I was like, hope. There's hope.
See, I didn't attribute it to that.
But I did. I'm like, he's human. He cares.
But I do recognize that there is a bit of a calculus going on here. Like, he's like, wait, this isn't. Yeah. I know you. When I met, like, we didn't know this at the time, obviously, but like, when I met you, you were with her. You protected her. You know, in spite of how you were trying to educate her, I know that this is your kin. It's not, you know, you wouldn't do that. So why now? No. When she tells him that she's alive and the baby's bird nest thing and that whole scene, he keeps it a secret. and so a normal person would start to, like, pause. Like, okay, you've been lied to for so long. She lied to you again about this. Look around you. This is how life is. These people are just trying to be human, etc. You know, she's going to murk me. There's a reason why she's trying to murk me. It's because I know that she's a liar, that Lydia's alive. Okay, this is the real deal. Mary doesn't know that Beta knows that Lydia's alive, too. And I think Mary knows that in a way. Because she
could have threw that out there. You know, she lied to us, blah, blah, blah. She could have been like, hey, by the way, Lydia's alive. Of course, he knows that, but like you said.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway.
No, he knows that she knows.
he knows that she knows that. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Yeah. But essentially, like, it's like she says, hey, Alpha's lying to you. And Beta's like, not really. Like, I kind of know what's going on. Right. I just don't care. And that is what I'm talking about. That, it goes right back to the flies. Beta is mentally ill already, but I think it's also like novella-style madness. Like, literally, the kind of mental illness you cannot reach. That's Beta right now. And it's warped its way in with the ideology and Alpha and this weird, almost like, I'm like the devil's henchman, and I'm more committed than the devil. Like, that's the thing. I'm its agent. I am uncontrollable chaos. I just need a direction to be pointed. There's no coming back from that. That's how I feel about it, at least. I mean, after this episode, that's how I feel about this. Because, I mean, can we go to him going house to house and shit? Like, I want to know, because when I was watching this, I was like, what is Rachel thinking right now? I
thought he only went to one house. He slaughtered everyone in one house. It was 2 houses? Okay,
yeah, it was the smaller house with the actor David Shea, because the highwayman guy.
The guys that were gearing up?
Yeah. I
think that was the first house?
Because you actually see him leave that one house and go to another house. That bigger house, that bigger manor.
Okay. That had like 4 or 5 people in it?
Yeah, or 6 even, I think. I didn't count. It was dark again.
Right. I know. I haven't heard. Yeah. I think I missed him going from house to house, because what I saw was him going into so that awesome freaking scene where they're gearing up, right? And the one guy's like, "Yeah, we totally kicked Lydia's ass," and blah blah blah. Whispers are pussies, and then Beta's like, and the lights go out. Specifically,
he says, "Whispers are pussies 101." Like, he didn't say pussies. Obviously, it's AMC.
He said something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Beta's right
Beta
there.
Beta is 1 on 2. And he takes and murks them both out.
Oh, it was awesome. Like, these guys deserve to go. Guardians for sure.
And by the way, did you watch Talking Dead?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit in Talking Dead, and this was not clear to me. I don't know if it's clear to you. But Beta didn't always wear a bulletproof thing. He took the chest plate from the guy in the two. I didn't know that. I'm like, did he always wear bulletproof shit?
No, I only caught it the second time, because the second time I watched it, I realized what he was gearing up with is what Beta has on later. Right.
I just didn't put two and two together. I thought maybe, then maybe he was always wearing that, you know? He was always smelly, hot yoga-y hot, and stinky.
So Chris had made a comment about where Judith shoots, right?
Okay. Now, can we take a moment? Can we take a breather for a second? Satnam. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's do it. I'm ready.
So she shoots him through the door, right?
Right. Let's start with that, because you have to kind of pre-pen this criticism with what the criticism is first. Then we can go with the shooting through the door thing.
Well, Chris's comment was, and maybe I misunderstood it, was his comment that she should have been aiming for the head through the door, or she should have taken a second shot once they got out into the hallway?
Yeah, the second one mostly. Shot? I think so mostly. But I think most people were like, most people missed the fact that she was shooting through a door in the first place.
Through the door, yeah.
Yeah. Like, she's like at 5 foot. She's like 4 foot nothing.
Well, where that hits him, if I were standing there, it would have got me in the head.
Yes,
because it hits him like right here, and that's about where I'm at on him.
He's a whole foot and a half taller than us.
Yeah, absolutely. So if a normal person were on the other side of the door, she may have gotten them in the head.
I mean, to be perfectly honest,
she may have been aiming okay.
I'm actually impressed that she hit him in the first place. Like, okay, if you think about it. Yeah. Like, well, I mean, maybe she would have more of a likely, but like if it was a normal person, like when you aim for the head through a door, what are the statistical odds that you're actually going to hit the head? Like, I mean, that's good. This much with like a door frame. That's like, I mean, most of the freaking area of the door. So like, I don't know, you graze the head, maybe, I don't know. So that's out of the way, because that's the stupidest thing to respond to. And that's like low-hanging fruit in terms of just dispelling that. I want to give people credit when they say, "Oh, you talk about Michonne. I mean, she's like, since she was born to kill things, it's like, why don't you double tap him in the head with 2 bullets?" And I'm like thinking to myself, she's never killed a person before. For all she knows, in the moment, she just killed someone. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and Mary's telling him to run, like go, 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 go.
Did anybody stop to look at Judith after she shot him? She was frozen. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, dude, just casually, just walk up like a boss and just blah blah. Like, no, she's like, I just killed someone.
It's a baby.
I just killed someone, and I want my mommy.
Right. She does have all the training, but
Where's
she does not have the experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what we were talking about with TWD World Beyond last week. It's like, okay, so you know what to do. You know all the theories. You know to go for the head, the softest spot, like the temple, and just go to the back of the head. And it's another thing to do it. We would probably be dead fucking meat. Stop talking shit, folks. You've never killed anybody, too. You know how I know? You're not in jail.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Killing people ain't that easy.
Stop talking shit, Twitter. And if you are on Twitter and you're in jail, you're doing something illegal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I want to know how many people are in jail.
Eugene.
Exactly. We're all fucking Eugene.
We're all Eugene.
Stop with the fucking shit talking. Okay, no. I mean, I honestly want to be on their train. I want to be on the frame of mind that says, just go blah blah. You know, like, and just get him twice in the head. Or once even, right? I want to be on that train, but like, she's a fucking 8, hold on, we always have this problem.
Are we gonna do this?
She's a 7, 8, or 9-year-old. Can we be, I'm just koshering this up. She's a 7, 8, or 9-year-old.
I would have to disagree.
You want to say 10?
Or 11, even.
You can have it. I don't give a shit.
I would say 10 or 11.
Well, let's just, okay. When you were 10, did you kill someone?
I did shoot guns when I was 10.
But did you kill someone?
No, I did not kill a person. I didn't even kill an animal. I shot at targets.
Right.
So.
And I'm sure it's no big deal, maybe even for some people. No. But like, when it's a person, I mean, it's like, what does that make me? Like, the first few questions, like, what does that make me? How do I deal with this?
I think we all would do what we had to do in a situation. I mean, if it were life and death, and it came down to me or this person attacking me, I would like to think I would have no problem killing someone if it meant my life or theirs.
Right.
I don't know, because I've not been in that situation, thankfully. But I think we're all capable of it if we have to.
Right. But I just don't think she has this. Don't think Judith specifically has the software. Like, even if she's like in a beta testing mode. Beta testing. But like, I mean, she doesn't have the cognitive capacity to be able to reconcile what she just did. And you see that. She is playing that. And Mary is just like, go, go, go. Like, and Mary's even like, oh, you got him. Let's get the fuck out. That's my other thing. My other thing is this. So the emotional thing aside, the bigger question is, Mary must know, in a sense, that Beta would never do this on his own. Or at least, it's kind of like it's going back to Daryl, it's going back to Carol. The Whisperers know better than to go at things on their own. Mm-hmm. Our group knows better than to go at things on their own. And yet, you have Daryl trying to do it, you have Beta trying to do it, the parallel, the knives.
Yeah, the double knife. I know.
By the way, until you said that at the start of the show, I didn't even see it. And then, like, I was like, oh shit, Daryl and Beta are doing the same thing. Daryl is trying to save someone. Beta's trying to capture someone. Potato. Right. Gamma kind of is thinking, who else is here? Are we under attack? And so, like, you got to get the kids out, get them to people where they have arms, like where they're armed. It's like, that's your first thought. Like, let's get these kids to where there's more protection. Let's protect the kids. And so you're not going to sit there and just mull over double tapping a Beta. Plus, we don't even know how much ammo. What if that was the only shot in the gun?
Could have been. Yeah, could have been the only bullet.
Here's the real question that nobody bothered to fucking ask. And this is what pisses me off the most. You ready for this?
Oh, no.
What is Judith shooting with?
I assume the Python.
Right. And now, other than the Desert Eagle, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Python has the biggest kickback, right? Has one of the bigger bullets. I think it's a 45, Am I right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't know that much about it.
I need somebody like that's more of an expert, because we're talking about ballistics here. Like, this is a big gun with big ammo, right?
And it's a heavy gun.
Right. So first of all, she has the cognitive ability to wield it. A, but B, the bullets. How many possible bullets could there be for this gun? Right?
Yeah.
Like, in existence is what I'm saying. Right? Has Eugene been making them? I don't know. But
we know
that's not the question.
Right.
This is the question.
Right.
Would that plate have stopped that bullet? Like, maybe the only thing that helps this case is the door kind of breaking the momentum of the bullet. Maybe.
Could play a factor.
But other than that, that bullet should have gone right through him or inside him, is what I'm thinking. That's the only thing. That's the question people should have been asking. Are you kidding me?
I almost wonder if the materials would play a part too. And this is a big old question mark. This is not factual in any way. But if the chest plate was made out of
metal,
a thicker steel, and the bullet was lead.
Okay, that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, steel versus lead. Lead is going to buckle.
The lead may squish. Plus, like you said, traveling through the door may have slowed it down even just a fraction.
But all I'm saying is that would have been a way better argument to have, right? Like, okay, don't worry about Judith not double tapping him. Worry about the physics of what just happened. Just like that is something you can debate, right?
I wasn't wondering why Judith didn't shoot him in the head. I was wondering why Mary didn't take the gun from Judith and shoot him in the head.
See, that would have been a good follow-up. Like, if she would have done it and then it would have gone click, 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 and then, and then the kids, and then while Beta gets up, drags down Gamma, the kids keep running. That gives it more of a power. I don't know. I'm not doing the writing, but that would have been... But, like, it didn't happen that way, and I'm actually okay with that. I mean, we can pick at the scene all we want, but it doesn't really
At the end of the day, it's a show, and it has to progress.
Yeah, life moves on.
Certain things, we just have to accept certain things.
Right. And the way this happened doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Because nobody's perfect. I mean, and this is what kills me about Twitter and cancel. I mean, I'm going to go on a tiny yarn, but like a tiny tangent. But it's like the thing about cancel culture, the thing about like the things that we do on Twitter, why we attack certain people for saying certain things. It's all purity tests. And it's all people raising their hands to say who is more perfect at the time. And when your time comes and you say the wrong thing, it's just going to make it so that people come after you. The bottom line is that, like, life doesn't work out like that. In the carjacking, you could die and there'll be no reason for it other than the fact that they don't want you to be a problem. And because that's not how shit works. People don't hesitate. People just do. Sometimes this world sucks. Most times it's pretty damn good. But sometimes, some people... Yeah, it's not going to make sense. Life isn't fair like that. The calculus doesn't work out all the time.
So those tunnels pretty much made a straight line into Alexandria. Or should we believe that?
Oh, that's your question.
Under the RV. Here's Beta on this mission to go find Gamma, right? And he makes a beeline right for Alexandria. Why is he so sure she's there? And he just happens to find her in the prison cell. Would that not reinforce the fact that she's not a spy, but was actually captured by their enemies?
You've asked quite a few questions.
I did, yeah.
Remember Dante did reconnaissance. And so he has drawings of the outline of Alexandria. He knows where to go for prisoners. And you're right. Dante was slipping notes in the tree. So,
he was able to get information back to them.
And side note, do you know where prisoners are held? On Morgan Street. Did you get that reference?
I did not know that.
Yeah, Rosita's like... Oh.
I caught Morgan Street, but I didn't catch its relevance. Huh.
It's Morgan Jones. He made the first prison cell.
Yeah.
I'm Morgan Jones, and I invented the first prison cell at Alexandria. I thought that's a really cool reference. Subtle, more not so subtle.
What would make Beta think that Gamma was in the prison cell?
Either way. First of all, he knows that they're not stupid. Like, even if she defects, they know they're going to hold her in a cell. They're not going to take her at her word.
Okay.
You know,
he seemed pretty sure that she was there too.
Well, that's the whole other side of this is why your question's really good. Because it does get to the motivations of Beta, like the agent of chaos. I do what I'm told. That's the thing. If Alpha sneezes, Beta, everyone catches a cold because Beta's the one who gives it to them. that's the thing. Because it's not because Alpha sneezes, it's because Beta gives it to them.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the... I mean, if you want to get biblical, he's like the Metatron to God. It's God's voice, right? You know, like,
sure.
literally, yeah. God could go like... And, like, the Metatron will be like... Did I say Megatron?
No, you said Metatron.
I said Metatron? Okay, because I thought so. I said Megatron before. like if
the
Transformers.
Said it wrong, I heard it right.
I'm just operating the fact that I called Beta Megatron. Anyway, so...
Sure.
Kind of makes sense, actually. If Alpha gets this idea into her head from Negan that Gamma is the mole, and she just has this whim, Beta's gonna just go, I will kill her. And she used, by the lead into the episode, was like, she's dead. And, like, you know that after she goes, no, I want her alive. But hold on a second.
Wait a minute.
Wait. Hold up. I will kill her. She will be dead by me.
You know, Beta is really, so far anyway, has been like an exact carbon copy from the comic books. And they've done such a good job at expanding these characters. I hope there's something more in store for Beta. I know we got that little bit of a backstory, but I would like to see him develop from where he's at now even. I mean, even if he doesn't come over to our side, whatever, but I don't know. He's just so...
He has one dimension, right? And you want more.
I do want more, yes.
But I think we're going to be wildly disappointed. The only thing I'll say is that, like, I mean, he's shaping up to be somewhat similar to, like, the Governor, in a way, where sometimes you're just too far gone. I mean, the Governor had, like, underpinnings, right? Like, it's like a Plinko. Like, there's like reasons for why he does things or commits to doing things the way he does them. But, like, I think with Beta, you add this mental illness thing, and it's just, and there's something to be said about, like, the wild unpredictability of some people, like Beta. And the only thing that keeps him predictable is Alpha. And that's scary. That's everything people were saying about, like, the Mike Myers-ness of this episode with Beta.
Yeah.
There is nothing there. I mean, there's almost nothing there. Right? Like, in a sense? There's just the ideology. There's just Alpha's will.
I think Beta would do well following anybody else's instruction, too. I mean, it just happened to be her who found him first. Yeah. Judith, to Judith's point, you know? Yeah. You just met the wrong person first.
And by the way, from what you were saying about the comic book, Beta in the comic book, because I've seen the stills of Beta in the comic book, and Gamma kind of plays that off a little bit. There's like almost like a nothingness to the character, like is not bothered by anything. Nothing affects him. He just does.
Yeah,
and that strikes me as Gamma a little bit.
Kinda.
But Beta in the TV show, he is almost bothered by some things. Like, there's a force field around him, and that's Alpha's, like, command, and it's the only thing containing him, right? Yeah. And like every now and again you hear him go, like, I want out. I want to be like hurting things, and like, and it's just, and like I'm like and I get nervous because it's kind of like, who is that going to touch? Like, when it just decides to book. Whereas in the comic, it's kind of like, okay, like, you're dead.
Yeah.
And not even looking at things is like, guess you didn't whisper. like, just, sorry. Like, just not, I did it again. Anyway.
I'm still going to hope for a little bit more from the character. Like, I don't know, just something surprising, I guess. I want that character to surprise us in like I mean, we know he's a killing machine, so that's not going to surprise us.
I think the thing that would surprise me is, let's say when the mask comes off, like, there's almost like a ridiculousness to him that we would never notice before.
if they weren't going to do something more with this character, I almost feel like someone else should have been cast. Like, when you have this person playing this part, and this person is well known, you have this big name, do something with him. You know?
Maybe. I mean, and that's probably another side of the unpredictability coin, is that, like,
Yeah.
we don't know who he's going to be with the mask off, and we don't know anything.
Well, we think we know.
Which is a mistake, right? Like, it's almost as if, like, we really shouldn't. I mean, based on his actions, we really shouldn't assume anything. And even if you do, how do you reconcile, like, Merc and all those people at Alexandria? Like, and it's like, oh, there's a way back, right? Right, guys? Right?
Yeah.
Right, Mary? Right, Mary? Right, you killed your sister, right? There's a way back for you. And I can see people making that argument. But Beta's, I don't know. There's one thing, there's a difference between being brainwashed and then being like, I'm the one doing part of the brainwashing.
Well, if they really amp up the mental health issue of it, I mean, you could very well justify everything he's done with a poor leader. You know, Alpha did brainwash him, in turn taught him how to brainwash. I'm biased, so I can't really have an opinion. I just want him to join our team and
take
be a
my
good
hand,
guy.
Rachel. I will help
exactly. You. Step towards me. Okay, where are we going?
It's that easy. The cult of Squawking Ted.
That was another strange moment too between Beta and Gamp. Why was it so important for her to come towards him? Like, what was stopping him from going in there, grabbing her, throwing her over his shoulder, and walking out? Like, he wanted her to walk towards him.
Oh, I think you answered your own question almost, though. He is online. There is something there. He knows what he's doing. And by having her take the steps towards him, it's almost as if, like, he's, like, saying, comply.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, walk towards me.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Show me that you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, go back into the tracks that we laid out in front of you to be subservient, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of like what we were saying about Carol in the other episode too. Like, familiar patterns when you're being abused. Like, like expecting to feel like shit. And so why would you not say you're a piece of shit? You know, like, why wouldn't Daryl say that to her, which is what she's begging him to do?
Right. She wanted him to, yeah.
Like the devil, you know. So going back to Beta, it's kind of like, walk on the tracks. Show me that you're subservient. Show me that you know what I'm saying to you, and what I'm saying is true, that you're dead the moment we found you, that she is your alpha. Like, he's saying all the things to remind her, she is your alpha, come with me, confidently.
In that moment, my thought was, oh, he's not going to walk in there, because then she'll just run out and lock him in there.
Well, no, I was thinking that as well, because that's a lot of what's going on in that moment, by the way.
But then later, you know, when he starts talking about, you know, you will fall, you will rise, you will walk with your sister again. Like, in that moment, and then I went back to that moment, I thought, no, he really thinks this is an honor. For, like, almost an honor for her to become a guardian. Like, right. They're already dead, and now she's going to join her sister and walk among the rest of the like
he's giving her an opportunity.
Really, yeah, like, he was really thinking, like, no, you, like, come on, this is what you want. This is what you should want.
It's over now, right? The jig is up.
Right.
We're giving you the opportunity to die painlessly. Yeah. But yeah, it's all these things and more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you completed that circle. Like, there's the cultist tracks, and then there's like, yes, come on, let's do this. No, but the reason why my wheels were turning though was also like, okay, if he goes in there, there's less of a chance for him to, like, maneuver. Like, let's say, what if somebody locks him in? And yes, he's in there with her, but what do they care? They can kill her and blah, blah, blah. But if he gets captured, it's a wrap. Like, I went in there promising Alpha that I'd get this lady, you know? And he doesn't go in there until he knows that, like, that's his, you know, he has the advantage. Like, when he kills Laura, R.I.P.
Yeah.
He goes in there to bash her against the bars, unfortunately. The other thing that was going on in my head at the time is, like, what you really got my wheels turning was like, oh, wow. He's not only a converted, and he's not only mad, but there's almost like activity going on behind there. Like, he kind of knows what he's doing and he does not care. Like, he knows what's going on. He has the wherewithal to convert others. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, wow, maybe it's not all like Agent of Chaos. There is like a will and intent. Like, oh, I want to bring the whole house down. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not only about what she wants; it's what I want, and I want the world to burn. I'm like, shit.
He did such. I mean, if he weren't a bad guy, I would be so incredibly impressed. Like, he that whole scene was just perfect from a bad guy perspective. I mean, sneaking in on your own, creating your own guardians, like, how perfect.
Yeah. And here awesome. And Daryl in the other scene, like, using the walkers against the whisperers by murking them. And there's like, there is a parallel, there is something going on there. Like, they both use the walkers to their own advantage. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to go back to Gabriel for just a sec. I just really...
You were really hot for him.
Other than the pulling of teeth and removing of fingers comment, I thought that was really... And even then, like, it just exemplifies the two types of reactions to being fucked over by the Whisperers. There's doubling down, and then there's actually letting it affect you, like, in spite of everything in your power. We've seen in previous scenes Rosita, like, working out, not being a mom. Like, not being a mom, I know we joke about that, but then, like, suddenly, like, wanting to be there for Coco, like being around her and stuff like that. And then Father Gabriel being with Coco also. It's almost as if they kind of met again for the first time. She was prepared, and then all of a sudden she realized how unprepared she was. And then Father Gabriel, who was kind of like a council member, level-headed. Remember, he was very level-headed. He had all the level-headed responses. And now he's like kind of reacting to this. He's like going on the extreme. Mm-hmm. And somewhere in the middle, I think, in this episode, they miss each other and they kind of talk past each other. And all of a sudden they kind of, at one point, they finally like meet and they respect each other. And they're like, we are two halves of a whole. And as long as we keep talking to each other, communicating with each other, and being on the same page, this is a good relationship. And also, we'll beat them. We need each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's why it works. And it's so cool to kind of see there is a roadmap, right, for these two people, for these two characters. Not only in terms of an arc, but like, this was planned. The way this relationship is moving, the way it started in the beginning of the season to where it ended up, there's like almost like a dance to the way these two are getting together. Like, everybody is like, what? How did they get together?
Yeah.
But like, this episode, seeing how that kind of coalesces and they finally kind of meet, it makes you go back to the original. You're like, that's why they're together. Like, you don't know everything, and now in this episode, you kind of do a little bit. You kind of know how they got together. There's like this weird respect for each other's gifts and talents. There is thoughtfulness to the way they're building up these characters and relationships. So I just think it deserves to be recognized.
I'm gonna try to come around to that.
Or not. And if you don't, I want to know. I honestly want to know.
It's not that I dislike them as a couple. That's not it at all.
Right. It's just you didn't see it.
I just didn't see it coming. This episode, I did see a little bit of like, okay, all right, I see how it kind of works. And hopefully we see a little bit more of that. And then I can be like, all right, I get it now.
Right.
I'm just not there yet.
Right. Well, speaking of, and this is like the last thing to talk about before we close the book on this Beta invading Alexandria, is Rosita coming in with the save.
Yeah.
Right. Can you tell me what you were thinking when Rosita comes in on the scene? Because like, I have a particular reaction.
My first thought was, oh, yep, that scene of Eugene kissing Rosita was a dream because she's going to die right now.
So you thought that, and I assumed other people would think that. I did not think she would die, and on the other hand, I didn't think she would actually be Beta.
I didn't really think she was going to die, but I thought if she's going, it's going to happen now. But
right.
I didn't know how she was going to get out of it, but I'm like, oh, honey, what are you thinking?
Right. I mean, the thing is that
what?
The only reason why I thought like she was going to make it was because of all the working out in the beginning of the season. I was like, okay, this has to count for something.
Yeah.
All these scenes of her trying to bust her ass to kind of be at a certain place has to count for this moment. And
her busting her ass gave her a fighting chance against Beta.
That's all I'm saying. It gave her a chance. And, you know, and we all know, and we were saying this last week, she's still dead meat. But, yeah, Chris, I think Chris was saying it. It was like, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It was like, oh, what about the saw blade? No, dead meat. Dead meat. For sure.
I mean, we saw her try to slice him in half, and it didn't quite work. Yeah, it didn't quite work. And if it weren't for Mary, Rosita would be dead.
Yeah, for sure.
She would be dead.
And do you remember what Mary says? Step towards me.
Step towards me.
Bitch.
Yeah. She says it all cocky, too. Step towards me.
Yeah. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. Well, she was taking a bit of a chance there, too. Like, she's like, I know Alpha wants me alive, so if I kill myself, she gonna be mad at you.
Right. And then where will you be?
Yeah.
I don't probably
try explaining that to your precious Alpha.
And you know what's really crazy is that, like, I think Alpha would forgive him, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. Alpha's like a hypocritical piece of shit, is what she is.
Yeah. With everything going on, though, she may start to second guess that, though, and
Beta's commitment.
Sure.
Oh,
I mean, if Gamma killed herself and Beta had to go back and tell Alpha, I found her, but she killed herself. First of all, Alpha's going to have to take Beta's word on that, and that he didn't kill her. He was very eager to kill her. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Negan whispering in the other ear, saying who knows what. He could, you know what I mean? He could put some doubt in there over Beta, especially now that Gamma's gone.
I mean,
in this hypothetical situation.
It's hard to know what Negan would do.
Right.
I mean, it's Negan. It's really tough. I mean, as much as I want to say, like, I would know, I didn't know that he would be an all-in. Because I just wrote the notes today. Oh, yeah, he's Team Whisperers, for sure. Until we get indication otherwise, that's his goal, that's what he's working towards. There's just no way. There's no way with everything he's given Alpha, including his body. But more of the other things, I guess.
It is seeming like he's trying to make the Whisperers, his group.
Right.
Even alongside Alpha.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems that way, but I'm not buying it. I'm not going to buy it.
You're not going to buy it on the face of the outcomes, or the face of he's still working for us, let's say. Right?
Yes. I think
he's still working for us?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. Maybe he'll lose himself a little bit along the way, but in the end, he will come out for us.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I still think he'll come around, but I think in this moment, that's not what he's about. He's about...
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I can agree with that. Then yes. Yeah,
I think anybody who thinks he's still playing for Team Alexandria or whatever it is, I think they're delusional. You could be right, and then he'll end up coming back, but no, not right now.
Right now, I mean...
all this is intentional. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. I mean, how is Negan working for us right now?
And
he's right. He can't. He's not. In fact, he's strengthening Alpha and her team. An opportunity will present itself, and then he'll go, oh, okay. I'm going to do that and get back on their good side.
Right. This is what's so fucked up about this show, though. The Battle of Hilltop is the next episode.
I'm trying to stay away from teasers.
I've just seen photos. I've seen a couple of teasers. And there is the still of Negan in his jacket, in his Whisperer mask, at the gates of the Hilltop. Or I'm assuming, but I think I'm right. Because there's like a firelight kind of bouncing off his face in the shot. So Hilltop is on fire. And he is there.
Not just like a torch, but like a raging fire?
Yeah. Well, you don't see Hilltop on fire, but you see it reflected in his face.
Okay.
In this still. So...
Okay.
And we saw the teaser, and he's walking through the aftermath with
Lucille.
Proto-Lucille or post-Lucille, Lucille 2.0. And yeah, he's just strolling on through. And this is why I was saying, this is why this show is so fucked up, is that he's going to be doing some really fucked up things that you have to wonder, like, is there a way back? And maybe he's even wondering. There's also the promise he made to Judith, like, I wasn't going to hurt anybody. Do
you think he's still really thinking about that,
not
though?
even if they're hurting me. Yeah, I think it's going to come back, though. I think that promise is going to come back to bite him in the ass. And he'll have to, I think that's part of it, and I think that's, then maybe what Carol was saying the other week was like, when he sees what they do to Lydia, possibly, maybe, that will be the straw. But
although it doesn't look like Lydia's going back to the Whisperers.
Oh, no. And maybe this is a good segue. Because
he may not get the opportunity to see how they treat Lydia.
Yeah. And so I think that does bring us back to Alpha and Daryl. Because we do end up seeing Lydia by the end of the episode. But right off the bat, the gas station reminded me instantly of Siddiq. Because that's where Rick and Carl find him.
Was that a gas station?
Yeah, it was a gas station.
Okay, all right.
Right? And so it got me thinking, like, what is the connection here? This is where we find the stranger. And I don't know, maybe as we talk, I'll think of something, but I just thought that was kind of significant in some way. But yeah, you have this, like, little bottle episode, the part of the episode where it's, like, in this contained setting where Alpha and Daryl are kind of, like, after fighting the fuck out of each other.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, okay, let's talk about one thing that, like, because I think you and I are kind of like have the same kind of feelings about Daryl in a way. Like, okay, he's a little overrated. Everyone loves him. Daryl. Oh, they can't kill him. It's Daryl. And so I'm like, he's loved by everybody, and you're like, Daryl.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? I mean, because I don't know.
It's Daryl.
It's Daryl.
It's Daryl.
Not my favorite. Everybody else's favorite.
Yeah, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody else loves the fuck out of him. I think for the most part.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, it's Daryl. Yeah,
he's on my top 4.
Everyone loves Superman, right? Yeah, Superman. Right. Yeah. And so, like, not my favorite. But, like, the fact that they put him in peril, like, oh, Daryl's getting injured, and like, oh, shit, he went right for Alpha. Holy crap. Oh, Daryl has feelings. These are the things kind of like I was kind of like warning people about. Is like, second Daryl catches feelings. I don't know, guys. I think abstinence is his only way to keep him alive. He's asexual, folks. You can't kill him off the show. You can't catch feelings. It's the beginning and the end. What was I made my own curse. It's like the second I saw him, like, actually starting to get hurt and then, like, mortally wounded, or so we think. Something interesting happened inside me. It's like, oh shit. What if they get rid of him? What if they kill him off eventually? And then he started to be like, oh shit. He may not have been my favorite character, but was I taking him for granted?
Right?
Or was the show taking him for granted? Like, it got my wheel spinning, like, oh, what if we lose him? There is something I liked about him.
He was just fitting into his leadership role.
Yeah, I started to see a spark. Yeah. I can't even explain to you without saying this. It was almost exciting in a weird way. It was, like, exciting, but also, like, terrifying. Like,
sure. Oh
shit, they're going there. Like, oh shit, Daryl's getting the fuck beat out of him. Oh shit, Daryl's getting the fuck beat out of him. Right? That was the two things. It's like, whoa, oh, this is refreshing. Oh shit, this sucks. That's what I was feeling all at once. And I'm like,
I don't know.
I was literally tapping the couch. I'm like, what is going on here? What is going on here? Yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. I'm sorry.
It looked
I'm struggling here.
Right. It looked pretty sketchy, but I don't know. I just kept thinking, all right, how's he going to get out of it? How are we getting out of this one? Come on. How are we getting out of it?
It took me a while to get there. You know what got me to feeling exactly what you're feeling right there? Knowing that he's going to be at Hilltop swinging a mace.
we saw the trailer. Yeah.
That's, but like for that solid 10 minutes, like, I was like, I totally forgot about it. You know what I mean?
He absolutely 100% should have been dead.
I 100% agree with you.
100%.
When he pulled that knife out of his leg.
Yes, that was arterial spray. He hit an artery.
Yeah.
He would have been dead in less than a minute of bleeding out.
I know in a minute, but yes, to all of what you're saying.
When he had it in, I'm like, okay, good. Leave it there. Leave it there.
And I'm sure that's exactly what his character was thinking.
Yeah. But then he had to use it, and I'm like, oh, you better tie that off or cauterize it, do something. You need to do so. You got to stop that right now.
Wow.
And then he's laying there for how long before Lydia shows up? And then Lydia spends however long talking to her mom. And oh my gosh, that whole scene just made me so mad.
Oh man.
Between Lydia and Alpha.
My head is already starting to do the apologist thing, by the way. Damn it, Head. I almost got away with it. So do you remember when we were going back to, like, Dante was only killed 2 days ago, or was Sadiq was only killed, same thing. Sadiq was only 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Man, is it possible that time is moving so slowly that she finds him so quickly? And it is possible. It is possible, and it really annoys me. It annoys me, too. It annoys me that I have this kind of brain. I am sorry, okay, everybody? I'm mad at me. No. I want to be upset at this because it's Daryl.
Don't be. I thought the same thing. I really did. I'm like, seriously, what was she doing? Following them? Like watching all this happening and just like waiting? Like, what are the chances? But But it makes sense. I've been in a decent sized woods before, and you get split up and you do find each other again. And it's possible. Not to mention, we have no idea what area, how big of a space it is that they're all in and traveling over.
Right. And she knows their ways.
Smaller. She definitely knows what she's doing. Yeah, she's been out there forever.
And she's probably been tracking them both, and they're both obviously injured. She's not. And so she can afford to take her time. And I mean, all I'm saying is that time is just kind of like all out war, right? Like time is moving uber slowly right now.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to have something to complain about. But there's just that one little part of me like Alpha could have survived, but obviously she looks like her blood is almost gone.
Yeah.
And Daryl, so here's the only thing that I can think of is that, like, what is Lydia? What is she? I wrote this like to Kirsten Acuna, who, by the way, generously gave us 3 coffees this month. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So she said, how did she drag Daryl away? And and I said, duh, she's like a level 60 healer. But then I said, seriously, what if every scene after is Daryl kind of like a la a ghost, like the Sixth Sense? He's not really real. He's a figment of Lydia's imagination. So him swinging around the Mesa Hilltop is like, yeah, come on, guys, let's kill them. Come on. And everybody else is in, because the comments of the teaser for next week is like, everybody's like, so Aaron and everybody are in formation, but Daryl's just like at the front lines going, woo, with his little mace. Hey guys. But am I not wrong? And it's all like, oh, he is a ghost a la the Sixth Sense. They just can't see him. But wouldn't that be something, though? That would be kind of like, I mean, not literally that ghost from the Sixth Sense, but wouldn't it be something if he was Lydia's figment or something like that?
Well, Lydia would have to come back.
I think she would,
in order for him to be there, in order for her to manifest him there.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we say this, and the way she appears to Alpha and even sort of, I guess, to Daryl is this weird angelic halo person into the scene.
Right.
But, so we have to talk about a lot.
Right. Well, I mean, the conversation, I know it, we're running out of time too, but the conversation between Alpha and Lydia, I mean, just everything was just seriously? From, oh, is that you? Yes, Mama. Don't call me that.
Right,
Really?
right,
Like,
right.
they're dying.
Right.
Your daughter's trying to have a moment with you, and you are just alpha through and through. Like,
and I think she realizes that by the
disappointing.
end, right?
Yeah, well,
By
yeah.
the
When she
very
says,
end.
I want you to," and then she passes out and says,
she says, I
"Stay," when
need
she
you
wakes up.
to. She says, I need you to, and then she switches it to, I want
I
you to.
want you to stay. Yeah.
That's
But then she
big.
passes out. Oh, yeah.
Because one thing she says, I need you to, which means like I need you for something. Like
Yeah.
I need you to be this offspring, to be the alpha afterwards.
Right. Like, I need you to lead. I thought she was going to say, which was what she was saying before, you know.
Right.
And then she wanted Lydia to kill her. For a moment, for a minute, I thought, oh man, this would be. I would accept this if this
like
happened
I said,
right now.
like I said, it makes sense that Lydia would be the one to end her.
I would be okay
me.
with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this happened right now, I'll allow it. I like where this is going.
But you know why they didn't
Continue.
do it? Do you know why they didn't do it, right?
Well, because Alpha has a lot more hell to havoc.
No, it has nothing to do with that. They just don't want me to be right.
Oh. Well, I also like what Lydia said to Daryl the next morning, too, when he asked her, did you kill her? You know, and she's like, could you have if it was your dad? No, of course not.
What if he did, though?
Did kill his dad? Yeah, I don't know.
Like, he never answered either.
That's true. What if he's like, well, I did.
Yeah, I did. But, you know, we're not going to blame you for it, yeah.
Going all the way back to Judith never having killed a person. Okay, killing a person is one thing. Killing your parent, a million times worse.
And killing a person, period. Like, I don't think Lydia's ever killed anybody.
I don't think so. Even when they were on the covered bridge, she never even attacked anyone. She surrendered immediately.
Yeah. No, it's not a really good whisperer.
I think the only thing she's killed was a rabbit.
and a worm or two or three.
And a few worms.
She crushed those worms. Which I like, by the way, they brought up in that episode. Like,
yes!
Gabriel
mentioned
eating worms. That was a good Lydia callback. Which it's like, oh, Lydia's going to be back in this episode. You don't know, but she will be. And like, yeah, right. So there it is.
Well, and then I thought that was a private moment between Henry and Lydia. What did he do? Run around telling everybody she eats worms?
He asked God, and God told him.
God told him.
Can we go back to that for a second? Like that when he said that, it haunted me because it was like, oh shit. What if he's like not lying? Like,
right?
And like,
I don't think he was.
He has every reason in the world to like know that whatever she did, it's worth, hanging her for. Like, that's crazy.
He doesn't know anything about this person other than she's part of the Whisperers.
Yeah. Yeah. But how does he know?
She could have done nothing but walk around. She might not have killed anybody or done anything wrong.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, she killed her sister. That's pretty bad, but it's the only one we know of, right?
But that's the weird thing. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's the only one we know. But like, that's the thing. Like, that line is more for us than it is for Mary. It's more like, wait. Does he talk to God? Because it does make you wonder a little bit. Because I do go back sometimes to the very end of season 8, where he's like in the church and he can kind of see. Like, he's like, you gave me more, and then you gave me more. What was it? Was the line? Do you remember that line?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Yes. I know what line you're talking. I can't remember the specific words, but I remember the scene in the line you're talking about.
Yeah. I put it in the video, by the way, when we did the breakdown, because it was just so beautiful. It was almost like this relationship this newfound relationship he has with him, with the Lord. Let's say.
I almost totally forgot about that too. Lydia and or Daryl carve into the table, your way is not the only way.
Right.
And the fact that they left her knife there. They could have taken the knife with them, but they're like, here you go. You can have that back.
That was his knife, by the way, wasn't it?
Was it? I
that
thought
was
it was
Daryl's
hers.
knife. That was and he dropped it during the melee, and then it went into his leg. I think it was his. Because she has her own knife. Remember that she was about to push, lady. Push.
Oh, that's right. That did have a different handle.
Like
handle
a black
on it. You're right.
grip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see him clearly have that handle, that specific handle, in the beginning of the episode. Yeah. Okay. And then he still has those grip knives with the little.
Yeah. Like the trench knife.
Yes, exactly.
Bigger.
But he also has that other knife. But yeah, that's what made me wonder. But obviously, like, Lydia's in the rush to get the fuck out, so she's not going to bring that other knife. But then why would you spend time writing I don't know. But Lydia's the one who writes the message, obviously, because Daryl is out.
Right. Right.
So it had to, because, right, didn't you think when
Is
you
he
saw that
passed out?
message? Yeah, I think so. No?
Okay.
Maybe?
I don't know. I mean, we don't really know how much time passes. She could have woken him up, and he might have. I don't picture Lydia carrying him out of there. I picture her waking him up and helping him out.
Yeah, but the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking to myself, it makes more sense that it would be Lydia now. Because it makes 100% sense that it's Daryl. But then when you think about how he wakes up and, like, I think he passes out somewhere along the line.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not hearing all this stuff that Lydia and Alf are talking about. Unless he is.
I don't think so.
So it is Lydia. It has to be Lydia.
I think you're right. Yeah. It had to be her.
She's giving her a chance, like, in her own way.
We kind of hear for the first time that, I don't know if you took it this way, Alpha had all along been grooming Lydia to take over the Whisperers.
As animals do, in that way. Yeah, that was a little shocking to me, too.
Was
it shocking to you?
It was.
Because there was a lot going on in that one moment, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Like,
yeah. I was surprised. I mean, it makes a lot more sense why she wanted her back so badly, too.
Right, I want to leave this thing for you. I did it all for you. But
you are me, I am you. Yeah.
It's just so confusing. She
wouldn't want anybody else leading the Whisperers, and I don't think she would ever want Beta leading the Whisperers either. She knows he's not a leader. He takes orders. He doesn't give them.
Right. And left unchained, it'd just be a disaster. Everything would fall apart.
Although if Lydia did take over the Whisperers, some things would be changing, I think.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But it is like we're kind of missing some information. Was Deborah, was Alpha abused? She wasn't. Her husband was good to her. You know,
it seemed like she was the abuser.
Yeah, in that situation. She abused both Lydia and him, it sounds like, for the most part.
And that was even before the apocalypse. Like, I don't think the end of the world brought that on. I think that was just always who she was.
Right. So where is this need coming from? Alpha clearly misses Lydia. It's like Lydia is the albatross on her back. It's like, I love her, but I can't tell her, but I wish she were dead so I could be free, like really free, which is ironic because all she's saying is we are free. We bathe in blood, we are free. Say anything in the world to say we are free. You're not free. You're the only one who's not free. You're the only one out of all the Whisperers who's not free.
No kidding. Yeah.
She's a fucking liar. And I think that's why Gabriel resonates with me in this whole entire episode, is because there's this weird knowledge, like this weird, like he knows the answer. He's never been more confident about it, and he's 100% right. Fear is all they know. You gotta show it to them. You gotta show him that this is all there is, but it doesn't have to be your way. And we're gonna break them down. We're gonna make them tell the truth. And they're liars, and they're cowards. And he's right. And like, you can't fake your way out of this. You can't pretend to be the dead. That's not how people live.
Right.
He has the penicillin, he just doesn't have the delivery, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, where's the vehicle to this? And I'm also like wondering, like I love his gusto, like he's like, we don't have to kill them. We could just one by one deprogram them or whatever. Like one by one break them down.
I mean, do people really want to live that way? I can't imagine that ours is the first community that they've come across. Well, no, okay. They have seen other communities, but they've also seen them fall. So that's the lie. The lie is that this is sustainable. Yeah, you're happy now, but it's not going to last. This is how everyone eventually ends up. So we're just beating you to the punch. This is how we live now. Okay, sorry, I answered my own question.
No, I do that all the time. So you're in good company.
Right. So the very last note I had, and it's for you, because I need some clarification. I need you to explain this to me. In the very last minutes, she wakes up, she realizes she's alone and everything, and with the other Whisperers are there, right? At this point, and she's going, "Oh, I'm so much stronger now. Thank you for making me strong." Like, what? Huh?
Do you remember when Alpha is going, and you think she's talking to like Negan when in the promos, but I was very surprised to see that she was talking to Daryl.
about the pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see beyond the darkness into the light?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, no, you annoying bitch. Like, okay.
Shut up! I'm passing out.
I'm trying to sleep forever. To escape this conversation. Exactly. I'm trying to escape this conversation for good. And like, I'm tingling with joy. I'm like, whoa.
Like, what is happening? Like, everything she's saying is the opposite of what is supposed to be happening. Like, why is she tingling with joy?
And so I'll get to the answer to your question. But first we got to go through this. And it's very pointed. Pain made me. Pain made you. Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, you were abused.
Yep.
And she's saying, I was abused? We don't know what she was.
And she might not even be referring to her husband. Maybe her father abused her. Maybe her uncle. Maybe a family member. You know, this could be childhood abuse too. In her case, we don't know. I didn't necessarily mean, or I didn't think she meant her husband.
See, the problem is we're missing a ton of info.
Sure.
But yeah. I mean, we're now made to assume that at least. Okay, look, you were abused. I was abused too, and it made me this way. And it made you, I mean, and she's basically asking him, did it make you the same way? And he's like, no, not in the end, obviously.
Right.
And the answer to your question is what Judith says all the way back in the jail to Mary. If my dad and my mom would have found you, you would not have been in this jail or something like that. Like, this wouldn't have happened to you. And it's the same for Daryl. If Rick hadn't found Daryl, it could have gone another way.
He could have been Beta. Yeah,
exactly. And I felt the same way about Carol, too.
Any of them.
Carol could have turned out another way with Sophia. Sophia probably would have stayed alive, but only to be another Lydia Alpha situation, maybe. Right? It makes you think, right? What could have Daryl been?
Sure.
I mean, he was with the Claimers for a little while, kind of like Negan being with the Whisperers in a way.
The Whisperers.
He made his peace, sort of. But Rick infected him too much. Like, Rick, that mentality is like, hey, that's not fair. Like, you can't have this rabbit or something. I don't know. Anyway, but the whole point being is that, like, just your luck. Rick found you first, screwed you up, and made you good.
Right.
And so, yeah, it does go back to that. And I like that that's going on. Like, for the first time, I'm starting to see how and why this season is operating. It's all these parallels, like Daryl and Beta. Daryl, for all intents and purposes, like, it goes back to the beginning of the episode. It's like, he's a reflection, Beta and him are a reflection of each other.
Absolutely.
Like, Daryl could have been really screwed up had he not met the right people to kind of give him the right boundaries to let him be a person, right?
Especially given who his brother was. Yeah.
Yeah, especially. And then he came back into the picture.
I could have ended up really bad for him. So, but...
And for all of us.
What's the answer to my question? Why is she stronger now? I feel like her almost dying is what is giving her more strength. Like, what about that moment has made her stronger?
I was thinking that it was because she begged Lydia to stay. And she didn't. And that has consequences.
Okay, so she feels
Alpha does not beg.
Lydia.
Alpha doesn't beg.
Right. So the fact that Lydia left, do you think Alpha feels free of Lydia?
Look, here's what I'm going to say. Alpha says she is. I don't think so.
Alpha says a lot of things.
I know. She's a fucking cowardly liar.
Yeah.
But I'll say one thing. Like, I think she thinks, oh, that's the last nail. That's how I know it doesn't matter anymore. Now I can be who I was meant to be. Ha 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 ha. Okay. We are free. But I think it'll still bite her in the ass.
Okay. So ultimately you think it boils down to the moment with Lydia is the reason she's stronger.
Yeah, is why she thinks she's stronger at the very least.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that's about it. I mean, rip Laura, but I'm happy to see that she had like a little bit more prominence in this episode too.
I am too. I'm really upset that it wasn't clear to me she died.
Yeah, it was clear to me. I mean, the problem is that, like, if you're watching on a dinky screen, like, you don't see the blood pouring out of her head.
See, and I only saw the blood the second time I watched it. Okay, yeah. It also didn't help that the jail cell bar was right over her face, and all you see is the blood. So if you didn't catch that pool of blood, that's why I didn't think so the first time. I thought, oh, she's just passed out.
Well, and then Talking Dead sealed the deal.
Good.
In memoriam.
See, and I hadn't seen it yet, so if I would have saw her in the memoriam, yeah.
Yeah, I had like a nugget of hope, not really. Like I was like, oh, she's dead. She's dead.
Yeah.
But I'd be open to her not being dead.
It is sad.
And she looks so cute in her little Canadian tuxedo, too. And I hope she hears this and laughs her head off.
Right?
I think we're done here, but I'll say, like, okay, Battle of Hilltop is coming. Negan's going to do some shitty things. So the one big gripe is that everybody somehow... I don't know how much time has passed. So that's a factor. But everybody seems 100% healed. In the next episode, Daryl's just swinging that mace, and Alpha's all like better, and Beta was injured in his conflict with Rosita. Two really good hits, like one saw hit. He's gonna probably be fine. Actually, we don't really see him though, do we? So all I see is Negan and Alpha, and then Cooper is it Cooper? Yeah, Cooper and Ross and Eugene and.
It's so easy to just make a comment about time passing. And you can really throw it in anywhere, and it just has to be a teeny little blah, 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 to explain
3 months later.
Time has passed. Or like, oh man, a couple weeks ago was rough, or just something like just something. I don't know, just something.
Oh, boy, was that dramatic.
Right?
Mary's shaping out to be like Mary's like has fairy wings now.
Right.
He's like a little halo above her head. I don't know.
They could make reference to how long it's been since they've lost Laura. They could talk about that. They could. There's a lot of ways to do it, is all I'm saying. So I hope they just throw a little something in there to say how much time.
They also still have to explore Magna and Connie getting out of there. So there's a lot left to do. There's a lot of cleanup left to do. Like, how do they make it out? If they may all make it out, and is that how they're going to start it? Is somewhere in the episode they're going to start going through time a little faster? I mean, so far it's pretty slow.
That's a good point. If we
because we do see Connie at the conflict, I think, right? Or I want to say at the battle.
I don't remember. I don't remember seeing her in there, but that's a really good point. If next episode is all about the war at Hilltop, like poor Connie and Magna have just been trapped this whole time for an unknown amount of time since everyone's all healed up now.
What is the runtime for the next episode? It's Morningstar.
Morningstar is the name of the next one?
I know.
Seriously.
Seriously? That's what Daryl's wielding, by the way. That's called a Morningstar. The mace.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking of another Morningstar. Lucifer.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Lucifer Morningstar. Right.
Another double reference.
Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies.
The Flies, yeah.
By the way, when the fly was on Mary, it was like, okay, she's lying here. And that's how Gabriel knows. Because the little flies...
So, I wasn't paying that close of attention to the flies, and now I wish I would have, because I like picking up on those little bit of details. But was it very clearly a CG fly, or was there a fly on set that just happened to make it into this shot?
It looked like a real fly.
Okay.
It could be CG. I know it was really good, though.
Yeah.
I think it was intentional, though. Just like the flies were at the RV. Like, I think it was all intentional. The flies reveal the truth or the intentions. Morningstar is 44 minutes.
I think our last episode was 44 minutes.
Stalker was 45.
45, okay.
Squeeze was 44 also. Yeah, so it's normal.
Okay. I'm going to add Morgan Street to my notes.
You
That's
gotta.
what's going to happen when
That's canon now.
Yep.
It's canon.
Yep. Well, and when she said it, I thought, oh, that's so sweet. They named a street after him, and like totally, whoosh, didn't even think about the jail cell.
But that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, makes total sense now.
Makes total sense. I also had that reaction though, like, oh, that's so sweet. And Morgan Street, I miss Morgan too. And he might be dead.
So I had like 1,000 back-to-back thoughts in that moment, and my first one was, oh, they named a street, and then I went, wait, no, they already had streets there, so that just happens to be Morgan Street.
I was thinking that, but then I don't blame them for actually like changing that.
Sure,
I don't even think. Do you think these little communities? I guess they really do. They would have like
they would have street
Terrace or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
it'd be like Aspen Drive,
Sunset Lane.
Yeah,
like something dumb.
Yeah, Bumblebrook.
Right.
Drive.
Montrose Park.
Exactly.
I don't know. And then there's always a Washington something.
Yeah, we gotta throw a president in there somewhere.
Washington alleyway.
Boulevard.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, I gave it an appropriate name for the sewer that it is. Washington.
Washington Parkway.
Washington Driveway. It's just a short little thing.
Just the driveway.
Yeah, it's where I park my horse. Apparently. If you like what you heard, give us a like on our little streaming platforms like YouTube and leave us a comment. Tell us how we were wrong. At me and Rachel. Yeah, Rachel too. And more than anything else, ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. We could really use your help getting up on the charts, getting a little bit of notoriety. It actually really helps a lot. So if you are listening to us on audio, rate us. Give us a 5-star and tell us why. Or, I find this often works, leave an eggplant and nothing else. That's all. I'll take it. 5 stars and an eggplant. What more do you need? So hopefully this episode will come out really soon. And if you also want to support the podcast, I'm probably going to mention this at the top of the show, but here it is at the end of the show also. An unedited, undoctored, pre-show and post-show version of this podcast. If you want to be a part of the chat like Carlin was today, just buy us a coffee. One coffee, $3, gives you access for 30 days. If you want to give us more, feel free. A subscription keeps the party going. You know, $3 a month will continuously have access to not only when we actually record, you can be part of the real-time chat, you will also get a link to the entire episode to download for offline use. All the stupid mistakes, everything you can use against us to cancel us. Because cancel culture. It's what's for dinner. In any case, thank you, Rachel. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you for the next episode. And it looks like it's going to ramp up pretty hardcore for the rest of the season, all the way up to probably Maggie returning and maybe some nods. But who knows? It's looking like we're not going to get a break.
At least we're not going to get a break.
No. A lot of editing going on this end.
We're not getting another break till TWD mid-season 11 break.
I'm hoping that we at least get a break for Fear the Walking Dead. That little break in between the mid-season.
No, that's where they're putting World Beyond.
The second part?
You're right.
Yeah, because World Beyond is starting that same night of the season finale of The Walking Dead.
Fear will have.
But what if the second part? What if the second part is during the Fear the Walking Dead mid-season break?
It might be.
And then where will we be? Like, do we get a little break after Fear the Walking Dead into The Walking Dead season 11? Right?
Maybe only 1 or 2 weeks. Because they usually stack those up back to back too.
Folks. buy some merch, because I'm going to need... I don't know. This shirt obviously looks cool, but you should check out the new designs that we have in the merch store. It has the little We Are Squawking Dead logo that is modeled after the new We Are the Walking Dead promos. Check it out. Let us know what you think. Just talk to us. You know, you can message us on the website. You can DM us in all social medias, and leave a comment if you think we're stupid and wrong. I want to know if we're stupid and wrong. Yeah, leave not only an eggplant.
Arguing.
I love your anger. Leave a thumbs down. I don't care. I mean, you could if you want to. In any case, thank you. We'll see you soon. Talk to us later. Leave comments. We'll at you. And look out for a little morning squaffy action in week 10. We didn't do week 9, but we'll do week 10. How about it? I'll talk to you soon. Later.
Bye. Bye.
That's where the fade out comes in. Now we're done. We're done. It's over.
We gotta say goodbye like Judith. Bye.
Bye. We can't.
She was so cute.
We're too childish.